Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, India is still hoping for a miracle. Tonight, we are very somber. It's been more than 75 hours since a barge, a vessel carrying 261 oil drilling personnel, sank off the coast of Mumbai in the latest cyclone Tauktae. In fact, while 186 people have been rescued, 49 bodies have been recovered, and search for 26 people continues as hopes plunge at this moment. Tonight, the question is about accountability. Tonight, the question is that despite warnings in advance and ample time for these vessel contractors hired by the ONGC, why were these vessels not back at the ports? Every single person in the chain tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is answerable. While ONGC has ordered a probe, the agency that hires the crew has blamed the captain of the vessel, who obviously is not around to answer any questions on why he did what he did. While this blame game continues, there are distraught families tonight who are pleading for help. We can only hope that some miracle will save them, and that authorities watching this show tonight are hearing the cries that are coming out from these families. Listen in to these cries, and if these cries don't move your soul, nothing ever will. Listen in.
कि इसमें सवार 13 लोग थे, जिसमें से 2 लोग को रेस्क्यू किया गया है। बाकी 11 लोगों का अभी तक कुछ पता नहीं चला है।
बस मैं यही चाहती हूँ कि एफकॉन से या ओएनजीसी से कोई भी बस मुझे उनका स्टेटस चाहिए कि वो कैसे हैं। प्लीज़ मीडिया से मेरा एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है कि प्लीज़ आप जितना सर्कुलेट कर सकते हो इसे सर्कुलेट करो, और राधे श्याम ठाकुर किसी भी हालत मुझे सेफ चाहिए।
My brother got struck in P-305 on Monday. Till now we didn't get any update from them, but a few of the sources I came to know that Pamji has been rescued, but till now we didn't get any official confirmation. My family got completely, they are collapsed, so try to understand my pain and please give me the update as soon as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are not just random people. Rajni is the wife of an employee who was on board that barge. Shweta Bharti is asking, her tears are asking tonight, where is her husband? Who is responsible for his life? Who allowed his barge to be out there in the seas when there was a 7-day warning which said that these ships, these barges are not allowed to be there? On 15th of May, in normal times, all barges are supposed to come back to the coast, to the port. Why were these barges there after that time when there was a standing warning of an impending cyclone? Who's going to answer these questions? The statement of the chief engineer exposes the callousness on several fronts. In fact, the man who was rescued by the Navy relives to tell the horror. He claimed to have watched other vessels leave helplessly while his barge was standing in the middle of the seas. It stayed put. The chief engineer also blamed the captain for miscalculating the speed of the winds and not paying heed to the warnings. And what was worse tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that only 2 out of the 16 life rafts, and these are supposed to be lifesavers in such emergency situations, 2 on 16 were working. The others were punctured and hence could not save lives. Who's responsible for this? What did they think? Did this equipment not have to be checked? Are we so callous that we just hire people, contractors, and these contractors just hire laborers as if they are cattle fodder, and they just put them over there in the seas to fend for themselves without adequate equipment? This is the level of apathy that we are dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. We could have saved many lives. We could have saved all lives had we heeded these warnings. And I want to know who's responsible tonight. I want to know AFCONs. Who are the owners of AFCONs? Who are the people who should be right here answering the questions of Shweta Bharti and Rajni and many other families who are asking the questions of where their family members are? Were they just cannon fodder? Where are ONGC officials? I've not seen many answering any questions on any television channels. Why? Where are you hiding, sir? Why don't you come out and respond to those tears? Respond to those angry people who are demanding accountability. And therefore, on the Newshour tonight, the legitimate question, simply one: who is responsible for the death of our people? Who is responsible for this apathy, and who will answer and account for it? Who will pay for this by being thrown into jails where they should be for murder of 26 people whose even bodies have not been found after 75 hours? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Commodore Manoj Jha, Commodore Operations, Western Naval Command, joining me live. Father Joseph Daniel, brother of Antony, Edwin. And also joining me tonight is Rajni, wife of a missing officer, joining me live. रजनी जी, आपको ONGC से कोई जवाब आया? I'm waiting for Rajni to join us. I'll go across to Joseph Daniel. Joseph Daniel, I want to ask you, any answers that you've got so far from ONGC, from anybody as to the whereabouts of people on board?
हेलो हेलो
आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? रजनी जी,
Okay,
आपको
I
मेरी
can talk in
आवाज आ रही है?
रजनी इस समय बात करने के कंडीशन में नहीं है और उनके भैया लोग भी नहीं हैं। मैं भाभी हूँ यतीन्द्र विक्रम सिंह की।
नो इंग्लिश।
रजनी जी, मैं समझ सकती हूँ इस वक्त किस प्रेशर में होंगी। आपको किसी ऑफिशियल ने कोई भी लेटेस्ट अपडेट बताया है?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं बताया।
ONGC से किसी का फोन आया?
नहीं, किसी का नहीं आया। कोई अपडेट हमें ना कंपनी की तरफ से
नहीं मिली?
जी नहीं, ना ONGC की तरफ से ना कंपनी से हमें किसी भी तरह की कोई अपडेट नहीं मिली है।
और
एनी रिस्पांसिबिलिटी मतलब वो लोग अपनी
किसी साथी से?
किससे? सॉरी,
तो उनके कॉलीग्स थे, उनके साथ जो गए थे, उन्होंने कुछ बोला?
हाँ, 2 लोग रेस्क्यू हुए थे। उन्होंने
ऐसी कोई खबर?
हाँ, 2 लोग रेस्क्यू हुए हैं उनके शिप के। तो उन्होंने बताया है कि हम लोग अपना राफ्ट लेके, लाइफ जैकेट लेके हम लोग उतर गए थे और सारे लोग पानी में जंप कर दिया था हम लोगों ने। इससे ज्यादा वो भी कुछ नहीं कहा और ना कंपनी कोई रिस्पांसिबिलिटी ले रही है, ना ONGC, ना गवर्नमेंट। बस हम लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं, बस वेट कर रहे हैं, हाथ पे हाथ रख के वेट कर रहे हैं कि कोई अपडेट मिले। न्यूज़ देख रहे हैं और हम लोग को कोई हेल्प नहीं मिल रही है। प्लीज हम लोग हमारी हेल्प करिए।
अगर रजनी जी आपके पास हैं तो आप उनसे सिर्फ इतना कहिएगा कि हम उनके साथ खड़े हैं, इस देश के बहुत से लोग उनके साथ खड़े हैं और हम जवाब मांग रहे हैं। जवाब मांग रहे हैं सरकार से, जवाब मांग रहे हैं ONGC से, जवाब मांग रहे हैं AFCON से। और अगर वो बात करने की स्थिति में हो तो वो खुद जो मैसेज देना चाहे तो जरूर आए हमारे साथ।
नहीं, प्लीज मैं अपनी पूरी फैमिली की तरफ से रिप्रेजेंट कर रही हूँ कि प्लीज as soon as possible. Please bring our brother back. Nothing else, please.
मैं समझ सकती हूँ Mr. Daniel,
Yes, yes, yes.
any account of what really happened on barge 305?
No, so far we have not received any information from the government side or from the companies. On 17th, this action took place, but we didn't get information so far, and we are all worried here. Antony, Edwin is missing now. Some of our relatives, some of our friends are there in Mumbai.
And
we are contacting them to find out all the details, but we are getting the right information from there. Hello.
well, that is the situation that many are missing. And Commodore Manoj Jha, I want to ask you, it was a difficult situation in which the Navy team has actually rescued several laborers who were out on those barges in the high seas in the middle of this cyclone. I just want to understand what were the reports that you've received in terms of the rescue and what made this barge continue to be in the high seas at a time when there was a warning for such a severe cyclone Tauktae.
Thank you, Navika. Before I begin, सबसे पहले आपके चैनल के माध्यम से मैं उन सभी परिवारों जिनके लोग मिसिंग हैं उनके प्रति मैं सहानुभूति प्रकट करता हूं और मैं ईश्वर से यही प्रार्थना करूंगा कि वो लोग हम सभी हमारा जो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन अभी चल रहा है हम उनको सही तरीके से उनको परिजनों के पास वापस लेकर आ सके. Coming to your question, it was a challenging situation. It was because of the nature of this particular cyclone. It was extremely severe cyclonic storm, wherein we had winds of the order of 120 to 140 kilometers per hour, wave height of 5 to 8 meters. You had continuous downpour. Visibility was negligible. Of course, it didn't come suddenly. Warnings were available. And thus, we also had prepared our ships accordingly. We also brought our ships to higher notice of motoring so that they could be deployed at short notice. While we knew that the cyclone is coming and it is going to hit Gujarat coast, we in our mind, as our planning team, we thought that there may be requirement of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief at Gujarat. We never imagined tragedy of this nature at sea of Mumbai. Now, why these barges were not removed in time, multiple such vessels? This is a question I'm sure the inquiry, which has already been ordered, that will bring out, and we must learn the correct lessons so that as an organization and as a country, we improve and we do not face such tragedies in future.
Commodore Manoj Jha, I want to ask you, 26 people, 26 of these employees are still missing. 75 or 78 hours have passed. I want to ask you, realistically speaking, what are their chances? What are the chances that we will be able to save any more?
Well, Navika, first, I would like to just come to the figures. There were two vessels which sank. One was Papa 305, on which there were 261 crew members, and another vessel, Varaprabha, wherein there were 13 personnel. So altogether, there were 274 lives which were actually at stake. In addition, I will just come in a short while, which I'll bring about. So out of these 274, we have been able to bring ashore alive 186 crew members of Papa 305 and 2 out of 30 that of the Varaprabha. Consequently, we could also recover 49 dead bodies. That leaves us with a total of 37 citizens of ours who needs to be located, and we really pray that we bring all of them alive. Yes, as you rightly said, the conditions at sea are difficult. It's a saline water. Unless you have water at sea, the chances of survival are less, but certainly miracles always happen. It is possible that someone could have possibly boarded a life raft and possibly gone somewhere where so far we have not been able to locate. So I would not rule out the possibility, while the chances are, I would say, very less. We would also make sure that we do not leave any effort in searching for those who are missing. Aim is to bring every missing person alive, and if not alive, at least bring the mortal remains back home so that they get a dignified departure. Towards this, we also aim to conduct diving operations, both for the sunken barge Papa 305 and Varaprabha. We will be sending a specialized diving team and vessels to undertake and to look for any person who could be trapped inside these vessels. Coming to the additional numbers that I talked about, these are the numbers because of the vessels sank. There were other disasters which were about to happen. There was another vessel called Gal Constructor, which had 137 crew members. Now look at the numbers and the lives at stake. Now this vessel also was adrift, without power, without propulsion, and it also had flooding. When I say flooding, in the parlance, that means its engine compartments were receiving water. A lot of seawater was coming in.
True.
All crew members, they were panicking. But because without caring, without worrying about the weather, we always believed that the citizen's life is more important, service before self, and consequently, without thinking twice, we sailed our ships in those tough conditions when the cyclone epicenter or the eye of the storm was yet to cross Mumbai. Because our ships were in vicinity of these ships.
Commodore Manoj Jha, there are no words to salute the bravery of Indian Navy and all your boys who've gone out there to rescue Indian citizens at sea. But at the same time, while we salute Indian Navy, while we are thankful and grateful for them to have risked their own lives to save some of those of the 261, 186 have been saved. Well, but we have brought back 49 dead bodies, and 26 are still at sea. The question that goes out tonight is to a callous ONGC, to a callous AFCON, to a callous government, because nobody has reached out to the families of those who are missing in this mishap. And I won't call it a mishap, because this was done deliberately. It has been done deliberately, possibly with the knowledge of those companies that are in charge of these lives. Because the warning was out there 7 days in advance. Neither AFCON nor ONGC nor anybody from the government has reached out to the families of the missing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a pain these families are not going to forget. Rajni, on our show tonight, her family today waiting for one word, one phone call on what's going on. Not even to say that we are with you in this hour of grief or in this hour of stress or tension. Nothing at all. Forget standing by them or asking or even admitting to some sort of an accountability. This, ladies and gentlemen, is deliberate. And this is worse than the original sin of allowing them to be in the high seas in the middle of this kind of a cyclone. Who is accountable? Well, I can say only one thing, that Times Now is going to stand right here and ask questions. Ask questions on each of those accountable. And we stand with the families who've lost their loved ones. Accountability will have to be fixed. Make no mistake. Thank you very much, Commodore Manoj Jha and Father Daniel, for joining me on the News Hour.